Well, welcome back. Quick night of sleep. Not much sleep, but we are back. To chat. You know, I thought about going straight to another game, but I figured I would have a lot of questions. So that, well, we'll just stick with this. Maybe we switch over later. Maybe we don't. I don't know. But you know, we also have that nice shiny flying mount to traverse.
Oh no, no.
Apology again for the stand. Was probably overly concerned. Oh, are you talking about last night? No. Yeah, I was so tired and just like, what the—'s going on? That no, I did not realize I had left the stream running. You know, I re-rated and then I was like, all right, I'm out. So I appreciate everyone that started pinging me like, you're live, man, you're live. I'm just glad I didn't come back naked or something, you know? Always a good thing to not show back live on stream naked. Yeah, Neuro eventually messaged me as well. He's like, oh, all right. Now you're good. So, yeah, what a ride for sure, guys. You know, I know there was a lot of rush to videos and stuff. I've been trying to gather more information though. You know, I do plan to put something together to kind of go over whatever I find out as sort of how did all of this happen. And we can talk about some of that this morning, but what's up, Leto? There's a horizontal view as well. If you just click on the profile, there's both vertical and horizontal. So both are live. So you can kind of pick whichever one you want to do. So what's up, Roar? You going to work out, man? You guess Kira was right. Yeah, I mean, he obviously got messaged by somebody either from the team. Actually, it didn't sound like it was someone from the team, but I've spoke to a lot of folks at this point. So, and I'm hoping to talk to more, you know, as I sort of work through everything. I wonder if Kira will make a video. You know, here's the thing, right? You know, even though the studio's getting laid off, apparently on tomorrow, holy fuck, tomorrow, there is still a company that owns everything, right? So you still have to be mindful, you know, so people can't just come out and say whatever they want. I have a feeling in respects to Kira that he was probably, maybe, I don't know if he was talking to at least one person that I was. I had already started conversations about with some folks about the sale and stuff. So, so when I saw this video, I actually thought he was at first talking about the content creator program, and then it sort of clicked afterwards. Like, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure I know what was happening. There was a guy last night there was a video last night from a guy claiming to be the level designer talking about a class action lawsuit against the studio. If somebody recorded that, send it to me. I wonder if it's not illegal to never deliver. So there's a lot of stuff when it comes to payment, both on the user side and on the employee side, right? On the user side, we already kind of talked about some of this with the Kickstarter side of things, that there's this clause that says, hey, if we don't deliver, we'll refund everything. So there's that aspect. There's also the aspect, people bought a lot of cosmetics, right, that are still not in the game. Like there's a lot of cosmetics, because this is stuff we talked about, right? How they were introducing new cosmetics to the store for early access when they still had not done the other cosmetics yet. And so now you also have a situation where there's a lot of people that have spent a lot of money on cosmetics, probably millions of dollars. I don't know, but probably millions over the years. And they don't have their cosmetics. Now, what's the recourse to that? I don't know. I guess you probably would be looking at some sort of lawsuit if you wanted to put that together on the user side. That is similar to what has happened with Chronicles of Illyria, which is still going on, by the way, like years in the, that lawsuit's been going on for years. So could you be looking at something similar? Maybe. I will say, if we get any sort of lawsuit, we will probably see a whole lot more public information. Is there already a GD Twitch ad? Did that really just happen? How long? I've been on for 7 minutes. And there's already an ad. So you have the whole user side that, I don't know. We'll see. Anytime you offer packages for whales, right, where people have spent tens of thousands of dollars. Now, that's not me. Oh no, I can't launch my mount. Why is that? It doesn't expire yet. What's going on here? So weird. Anyways, so you have the user side. And then then you have the employee side too, guys. So we have to also remember the employees equally at this point, from what we've seen, are from what I've been sent, are not getting paid. From the information that I was sent, the video, the documents I viewed from staff, it says that right now they are not going to make payroll, and that, basically benefits are done. Part of why I think, I don't know, we'll figure it out over time, but, there had also been discussion sent to me that, there were supposed to be Alpha 2 bonuses that never happened, that were supposed to happen in February. That was an immediate flag when that was sort of sent to me. So you also have not just the user side, but you have the employee side. Apparently the employees had already been they had already been transitioned into remote. So it sounds like nobody was coming in either. They had been all transitioned out of the studio at some point in December, is what I was told. Yeah, I think the mount's gone, guys. Pretty sure it is. Not my inventory anymore. It's gone. How sad. At least we flew it last night. Look at all this armor and shit, though. Why am I still playing? I was going to fly around. I'm not actually playing. It's just on background at this point. Could you do a quick update since yesterday? You mean of stuff that... So... I'm still piecing together a lot of information. from folks, but you know, as of again, the short of all of this, yesterday, all of the employees last night were sent, you know, a notice that they were basically all going to be laid off on February 2nd, tomorrow. And not long after, and with that, payroll issues, insurance, you know, benefit issues. Not long after that, Stephen sent a message that he has resigned. Not long after that, Margaret put up a message that she's no longer there, you know, and we've had LinkedIn posts all day long from folks. So, you know, as far as Intrepid Studios, the game, the studio seems to be done. Technically, you could always, I guess, move the game development to another company. I don't know that that's, I have no knowledge of anything like that, but that's theoretically possible. Equally, they could just try to sell assets. They could just try to sell what's there, which, by the way, we went over this yesterday. You do actually they have your player data. So if I were all of you, I would highly recommend going to the Ashes of Creation website, clicking the box that says "Do not sell my data," because when you go to the UCC filings, which are the liens basically that lenders put on whoever they lend money to, at least one of those filings actually claims ownership or interest in user data. So something to think about while you got time. Ashes was fun to play. I mean, you know, guys, here's where I think, you know, what's sad is that I think if you actually took Ashes and you completely got rid of this whole idea of dynamic gridding and just put in basic networking stuff and then started adding some content, I actually think you have a small game there that people would probably pay and potentially fund enough to like develop more over time. But everything that I've heard, it's very unclear what is going to happen with the actual game. So it's, as far as I'm aware at this point, it's not even really clear who owns the IP. But do you, sorry if it's, I'm sorry to ask this, but do you think they, wait, you don't think they, okay, I think you're asking whether or not they knew this was a dead game before going to Steam. The staff, no, they had no idea. I don't think, I mean, I'm still gathering information, but it's not clear why the Steam decision was made. Stuff that I've heard, again, these are well, where's, oh, hold on, let me, all right, before I do that. So, you know, the Steam release, from what I've been told, was a decision by the board. I don't know, you know, that's what I was told. By employees. So as to why, I don't know. I will say the employees felt like they did a very good job with very little time to get something out by December, whenever it was, 10th or 11th. And they actually, you know, felt like they did a good job, but ultimately we're sort of told it didn't matter. So, yeah, if you go to the Ashes of Creation website, so if you go to their website, just scroll on down. If you go here to the very bottom, it says consent preferences, and you can opt out of all of these things. Now, here's the thing that's unclear. When you check this box, do not sell my personal information or share. When you check that, all of these boxes uncheck and you can save and finish. But when you go back in, this is not checked. So it is unclear if this is functioning. We don't know. How does this event free you from your NDA? I mean, the studio still exists at this point, so you know, we'll see. If the studio closes itself, I don't know. I'd have to go back and read the language, but you know, I know there's already been folks going into CC, the CC stuff, because that's obviously dead at this point. I resigned from the CC yesterday, actually, before all this, well, as this was starting to all take place. But when does the Apogea gameplay start? So I plan to do that. I assumed that there would be a lot of questions about Ashes of Creation, and I thought it might be odd to be talking nonstop about Ashes of Creation while playing Apogea, but we might switch over and in a little bit. It's still early, but yeah, there's been a lot come out about the UCC filings and the people that filed them and stuff like this. This was all in a video that I did a couple of days ago. Well, a couple of weeks ago, sort of commenting on the UCC. That's where I was talking about the future of Ashes of Creation. So, but I get it. I'm a small time person, so most people probably didn't see my stuff. What's up, Dark and Stormy? Yeah, we're talking about AOC. Ashes of Creation is done. Well, the studio at this point's done. I think it's fair to say game might be done as well. Hope everyone that was fired is able to get a new job pretty quickly. That's the hard part. You know, it's the game studio is game development is so hard to find. So hard to find jobs, right? Things closing down. It's difficult, man. But the what I have been hearing is it sounds like there was potentially some back and forth about how many employees to fire, how many to keep. And then that just yesterday flipped to everyone. And so I don't know why or what as far as those conversations, but what was relayed to me was there was intention in a smaller scope to continue development. It's unclear if that is still a goal. Obviously, when everyone gets notice that they're being laid off, and there's some conflicting messages. So the there's conflicting messages. So the warn notice said that everyone was being let go. The message, the actual email or whatever was sent to them says that they haven't made a decision on who is being fired. So there's also some mixed messaging there. A new view. I'm a new viewer. Just watch your 2 new videos. Do you think anyone would truly buy Ashes? No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe, you never know. I guess if the price is right, there is something there, right? They've been to, there is IP there. What's up, Drew? You know, so there is an IP there, right? You know, if the price is right, maybe they buy. I mean, I'd buy it for $1,000. Doubt they sell it to me. There is probably a significant amount of lore we don't know about. I have a friend that's on the narrative side that's been there for years, so we just haven't seen it all. Another content creator mentioned an LLC. Yeah, so this is where I was starting to try to track things down. One of the UCC holders transitioned their ownership, their UCC lien from their personal name to a company. And that was one of the first, like, oh, what's happening here? You know, sort of moments, because it's unusual as all of this is going for that sort of thing to happen. And it was being transitioned to a TFE Games Holding LLC company that was made in Delaware, just just made, like at the end of the year. There's subsequently another company in Nevada called Fairpoint Operations that was started, that the manager for that is listed as TFE Game Holdings. So there does seem to be restructuring, and where Ashes fits into all that, it's hard to say at this point. So is the Ashes Discord just people spamming porn? They put on a 30-minute cooldown on the Discord. I mean, what would you do? Would you go in and moderate it? You're not, everybody's getting told they're fired. So, I mean, would you want to go? Have you been in there? Like some of the stuff that goes there? It's called the UCC is the Uniform Commercial Code, which is, basically somebody placing a lien on a company saying that they owe them money, and that if they're unable to pay them, they get, they want to put their name into having something come back to them. So it's a 6-hour. When I was on just this morning, it was 30. So doubt anybody would want to touch it. I mean, that's the other thing at this point. Ash has already had such a reputation for good reasons or bad reasons, legit or not. Ash has always carried with it a reputation, right? People either really liked it or they did not. And so, I don't know that anybody would want to touch it. So the whole thing's very strange, Kozra. Sorry, I'm tired, man. We were up late streaming. I think I ended up streaming something like 9 hours last night. So, I watched a GIF of a guy stuffing his own balls into his butt, and then I had to log out. What the hell? That's crazy. Where are we going? I have no clue, man. There's Apogea, there's Monsters and Memories. Riot MMO will be out before I'm 80, I hope. Pantheon is there, but I don't know. You've been very charitable towards Steven. Did learning the devs being screwed on pay, bonuses, and benefits change your opinion of things at all? I mean, I think there are clearly things that were not, that should have been done much better. Very clearly. What is not clear to me right now is where this transition to this board occurred, which I think does matter, right? Like who's the ultimate decision maker in some of the isn't Steven the board? No, I think there's a lot of, it sounds like there's unknown stuff into that. And Steven himself has said there's a board. So obviously it was never public knowledge, but it's more than Steven. And I can tell you there is a board of people that has been basically confirmed by multiple employees at this point. So, it not being communicated to us, I don't know. Is it his job to communicate it to us? I don't know. Obviously also we have, I know that I'm aware there's a statement of information that only lists him. So I don't know. Those are legal questions that I have no idea. Yeah, there is a lot of MLM connections into a lot of this stuff. Read that for what you want, but what's this say? This whole situation, where'd that go? This whole situation just kind of shows the game development world is a cancer. and will never be about passion anymore. It's all about money. Money, money, money. You know? It's 100% his job to communicate. Oh, to employees for sure. Yeah. I mean, the sense I've got from several employees as well, it was unless you're in the know, you are not in the know. You know, yesterday, from people I talked to, you know, obviously things were melting down like crazy everywhere. LinkedIn, Discord thing. There's like this big old meltdown. Not one word to any of the employees. Nothing. Not, up until the you know, we're firing everyone. That was the first, from what I've been told, that was the first word that anyone got after all of that going on yesterday. So yeah. Jobbers, I appreciate you as well. So that's because you streamers won't play the products out there made with passion. Huh? What do you want me to play? I had a comment on YouTube, something about how it was the negativity of all of these streamers that made this game fail. And it's like, what the, like, you can miss me with that. Like, you need to go talk to the person that runs the company, not me. Oh, what do you mean still no official statement? Well, you know, no, I guess technically no official statement. We did have, you know, Steven has made a statement. You know, this is his statement. But he does say he makes clear it's a limited statement in his own personal capacity and not on behalf of the company. So you did keep paying for these play tests. I mean, that's just become I don't like it, but that's become the model. Well, and with the negativity side, I mean, this channel has been very positive up until this last year when things started going sideways. And I wouldn't even call myself negative. Oh, I just see what you said. Yeah. I wouldn't even call myself negative. Like, it's just more realistic than anything else. You know, so my beat on how so for me, where everything changed, and this is from the people I talked to, their take feels this way as well, is that, you know, development was slow, right? Very slow. I think everybody agrees development was slow, but it was progressing. And then we got to June of 2024. And then June of 2024, there was this legal filing made by one of what we know now to be stockholders, demanding to see the financials of the studio. And really from that point forward, this has never felt the same. From that point forward, it has, you know, when you look at that was filed in June of 24, it was withdrawn in July of 24. You know, all of a sudden in August, we get this whole three-phase plan for Alpha 2, which really, you know, they tried their best, but they missed their mark on a lot of it, probably because it was rushed out. There was a new CFO temporarily. You know, then we get to phase 3 starts. It gets delayed from May to August, starts in August. It only lasts 2 months, maybe. And all of a sudden you're in Steam early access. And that lasted all of what? 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 weeks. I mean, it's still technically you can still buy it. And that's been this whole sort of trek of how things have sort of happened. You know, now when it comes to this board that Stephen references, I hope this layoff news is totally fake. It's not. 100% not. 100% not. Mismanagement, what did it say? Mismanagement and incompetence as a new studio resulted in this. I do think there has been tons of mismanagement over the years, but you know, so during that time frame from June of 24 to now, you know, here when Stephen talks about what did he call it? The board. How did he actually, let me read this again. Control of the company shifted away from me, and the board began directing actions that I could not ethically agree with or carry out. So I don't know when that happened. That's not been clear at this point. I mean, talking with people, there does seem to be a board. I know a lot of people want to say that Stephen's using that to, you know, reassign blame or whatever. But from everyone I talked to, there is a board. The board are the new investors he brought on. Equity exchange for money, along with control. Nothing new here. I mean, what you're saying? Could EA have been one of the board decisions? My understanding was, from what I was told, is yes. So we don't know. We don't know when all of that happened. When this transition of who began to control the movement, I don't know when that occurred at this point. I'm trying to find out, but I don't know that anyone really knows outside of Stephen. You know, Margaret even has made some, her Facebook, what did she say? She's been a lot more chatty than Stephen. She said, I was not second in line. I was not on the board of directors either. So I know there's a lot of people saying who knew what, and I don't know the answers to that. But I can tell you in experiencing this, something similar, or not similar, but in experiencing tough times through Chronicles of Illyria, I can say that, you know, a lot of times even people you think should know things don't always know things. The Steam launch protects them from refunds for the Kickstarter. An interesting question, Everett. We were talking about that last night as well. What is launch? You know, and I think the only way that gets figured out is through a legal action, right? And I don't know if anyone's going to attempt to file a lawsuit or what. But that, I think the only way we find out what that definition that they use for release, and for people who would, here's what we're talking about. So if you go, so this is the Ashes of Creation Kickstarter right here. Hey, appreciate the raid, Dominus. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Wild times, man. Very wild times. So here's the Ashes of Creation Kickstarter. So what everyone's referring to is, if you go down to the bottom, very bottom here, where it talks about risks and challenges. Now, obviously, you know, I think what we've learned with Kickstarter is when it fails, that doesn't mean people automatically get their money back. I think that's pretty explicit in Kickstarter, that this is a risky proposition and you don't know that you're going to get a product out of it. But that's the inherent part of Kickstarter. This is actually built into their own campaign. Like, this was put in by Intrepid under risks and challenges. These are our promises to you to continue our open development process with you, our backers, and our website, on our website and Discord channels. But then, and finally, in the case that Ashes of Creation does not launch, we promise to refund all backers in full. So that is the part that's caught a lot of eyes. And I don't know, that is all going to hinge on what does the word launch mean? Is launch a 1.0 completed game? Does Steam Early Access count as a launch? And I don't think you get an answer to that without some form of legal action. And I don't know that anyone's going to go down that road. If someone does go down that road, we will get a whole lot more public information. But I was a hero of the people, banned for what I thought was mild constructive criticism. You know, I've been pretty constructive. I've not been banned, but I don't know. Look back at the Intrepid messaging on Steam. What do you mean? How do you reckon Steam would have a say in all this? That's an interesting question. Maybe. It's still up for sale. So, you know, I'd have to jump into what the studio's obligations are for early access titles. So my understanding is that early access is treated a little bit different than release. I don't know if that's true. Obviously, I've never released a game on Steam, so I don't know for sure. But you know, I think there is something there to consider. Obviously, people one-off asking for a refund probably are going to get told no. It just depends. You know, we had a similar thing again with Chronicles of Illyria. People went back to the actual processor. I'm forgetting the name of the company. Very common processor, and I do think a lot of them did get their money back, but it was a whole legal thing that's still going on. So I would have called early access early launch. So that's also some of the other interesting parts. When you go, when you go, gosh, I wonder if I can find it. Let me see if I can find the wording. Hold up, let me look. Because I've commented on this before.
And now Steven's teabagging me as well.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find Steven's post. Let me go back. Oh, where's this at? Where's this at? I've been sent so many stuff. I've lost track of so much stuff because of how everything that's been going on. So bear with me just a minute. And we'll look at this wording together. Well, shit. Oh. I didn't realize that mount was gonna only last a short period of time.
Oh, no. No. No.
Where did it go? Where did it go? Ah, damn. I'm gonna have to find it. I can't find it. I could have sworn I saw the use of the word launch. I'd have to find it somewhere else. You know, somewhere there's, I'm pretty sure I saw both Stephen and Margaret use the words launch. Oh, here it is. Actually, I found it. Hold up. Right here. So if you look here, this was the day before. On the eve of our Steam Early Access launch tomorrow, there's a certain quiet that settles over the team, blah, blah, blah. So the word launch has been used. Now, again, it's in the context of Steam Early Access. So do they count that as a launch? I don't know. And that's why I say when you go to, 'cause when you go and look at that Kickstarter, you know, what would they consider a launch? I have no idea. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen with gamers. We've, like I said, been down this road. Where can you get a crowbar? The Caravansary. It does still work, actually. We tested that yesterday. At this point, you might as well just go corrupted and kill everyone. You need to have an interview with Steven after this. I don't think Steven wants anything to do with me at this point. I'd talk to him, but... Wow, what a morning. I know, right? You know, I'd love to talk to him. I've been chatting with some of the folks affected by this, so we'll see what I put together, and you know, if we can piece together some of the time frame and some of that other stuff to better understand. But again, this I also want to be very clear. This is still an active studio, so you know, we have to be mindful about not making like these crazy claims and stuff. So, you know, I'm not gonna go down some crazy theory discussion. I was relaxing, catching up on TV when Theory Forge went live, and I knew something was up. I know, man. We had already streamed 5 hours. I messaged a few people. I forget even how I put it. What did I say? I don't remember what I said at this point. Something like, I resigned from content creator program, big news, going live, join. It's something like that. It's wild though. I was wrong, guys. I was sort of wrong in my assumptions. The conversations or things I had heard before, you know, suggested maybe there was a sale or going to be a sale. And throughout the day, I was actually asked, like, well, do you think the game could close? Do you think the studio could just be closed all down? And my answer had been no. Because my thought process would be that they would likely lay off a lot of people, but keep some, develop the game to a point of release, and try to make some money. So this when I got that message yesterday, caught me off guard. So the Rise of Aegon, is that an MMO? There does not appear to actually, we don't know anything about a sale at this point. That was just the curiosity, the possibilities. Could there be a sale? Maybe. We don't know. The things we know right now are that the team got notification yesterday that the studio, every one of the studio is being laid off tomorrow. But that's effectively what we know at this point. So but hey, you know, yesterday we got a flying mount. We got to fly a little bit. Got a lot of great gear. Unfortunately, it's all physical damage, and I'm a summoner, but am I to take your comment on theories that you're unwilling to comment on what role John may have played? Yeah, I mean, I really am trying to not go down anything sort of speculative, right? I want to talk to people that know, confirm that I know, or, you know, confirm things. Just because at times like these, there's really high emotion and high, you know, a lot of stuff going on. And so I don't want to get caught up in any sort of back and forth, any sort of legal stuff or anything like that. So I'm just trying to be very direct in what we talk about, what we go through. I don't know who the owners are. I don't know who the board is. At this point, it's not even really clear. who owns the IP? I did ask that question. Like, does Steven still own the IP? Answer is we don't know. That I got. So tomorrow the Phoenix Initiative NDA goes poof. We don't know, actually. I have to go back and read that contract. You know, if the studio dissolves, I don't know what that means. So has anyone talked to Pockets? I have not. I've heard he's okay. I do know when we went live last night that Dusty came into chat, you know. Where'd you get this information? Who are your sources? Stuff, which I'm not, you know, obviously not going to put out all that out there, but not long after that is when Steven made Margaret made her announcement. Steven made his announcement. So then you didn't really have to take my word for it. I'm not a guy that wants you to be like, take my word for it, bro. I try to give you sources, but I also try to just do public sources. So, this is the fate of every PvPvE game ever. Well, I don't know about this being the fate. I don't know that they've been successful as an industry. Meanwhile, Camelot Unchained still zombie shambling about. That's, yeah. Hey man, they're putting out videos, right? I think they had testing this weekend, but it's all NDA'd, so. Yeah, his guild, that was his guild. Mm-hmm. Is this game DOA now? I mean, that has not been officially announced. So we don't really know. I will say the entire studio is apparently getting laid off from the information they were sent. So I don't know who's going to develop it. But again, they could always move even if they close Intrepid, they could always move the IP to another company and develop it through another studio. What's Blighted? I don't know what that is. Albion Online. You know, they've been a success story for sure. I would say they're unique in that though. Obviously they do well enough to keep going. So the other thing, there's also been questions about whether the servers will go offline tomorrow. The answers that I've received to that is no. I don't know the ins and outs of contracts and how that all works. But the answer I generally received yesterday was that the servers will not necessarily go off tomorrow. Now we'll see what happens, but my guess is that the servers will still be available for an unknown period of time. So Lazy Peon said in one of his videos he would delete his YouTube account if the game failed. Yeah, that probably ain't gonna happen. Who is Lex? What are you talking about? Blackbox Technology? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I saw Pirate's statement as well. Basically saying he's not surprised. Go to Twitch right now. Oh, is Pirate doing Twitch? Oh yeah, he's on. But yeah, so servers, we don't know. Did you get to talk to someone that was at, yeah, no, yes, multiple people. So we'll see, you know, I don't know what NDAs they have, but if the studio goes kaput, I don't know if they'll be able to talk more. Do you know why companies even do things in California? I mean, isn't basically every state you can fire at will. I'm pretty sure. Sorry to hear about everything going on, especially everyone that's gone through this before, like EverQuest Next or COE. Yeah. Hey, we're okay, man. We're gonna fall. We'll find our footing. We'll find another game to play. My worry is not for us. I'll be here streaming with you all like I always do. I'm more, worried about the studio and the people that are, having to go through this. A lot of them are obviously been put in a bad place. You never know who's living paycheck to paycheck, right? And so when somebody's told that they're not going to get their paycheck that they thought was coming to them, or when somebody's told, you're not getting bonuses or you're not getting any of this stuff, that's who I worry about. So from what I heard, tomorrow the servers will go down. I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard. Well, Vladis, I talked to somebody, and essentially what was told to me is that is not the case. That there are certain arrangements, but I guess I don't know the contracts, the in and outs, but there are contractual things between Amazon and Intrepid, and so I would not expect servers to go down right away. They will eventually, right? But it doesn't sound like they'll go down tomorrow. But we'll see. Play Apogea. Yeah, no, I have it on. I was going to play it this morning, and I guess we still might, but I thought it might be weird that we would get so many. Obviously, this is the hot topic issue right now is Ashes, right? So I thought it might be weird to be playing. Like, if I'm going to play Apogea on stream, I want to talk about it. And I thought it would probably be a little unfair to them to be streaming their game, but completely talking about something else. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I felt like it might be disrespectful to their studio. So, sounds like New World might get bought. If the price is right, your stream, your rules. Yeah, I want to be respectful of people, right? As much as I can. So that was my rationale. A lot of people have uninstalled at this point. Actually, let me pull this up. So let's look. Where'd this go? Number one, actually, look. Well, you can't see on my screen, but you can still buy it. It's still for sale. Only $49.99. Still for sale. Actually, before I do that, and it's not only for sale, but I'm pretty sure you can still buy cosmetics. Let's see. Is this open? Yep. Oh, but note that some purchases may be delayed. So, should Darkpaw buy AOC? I hope they're making their own stuff with EverQuest. But yeah, here's the current Steam. So here you go. There are still people playing, and now here's where I find interest. Right, we've always talked about how. Oh, and this would be a question. I wonder if I could ask this. Like their peaks, whenever the servers went down, never went below like this, 3,400. So always raise questions. Is that botters? Is that people? Who is that? But yeah, you can see this was. So when was this? This was when everything started happening last night, right around here. And you can just see it just cratered. So I don't know who these people are. Obviously, I'm in game, but is this the real number of people who just have the installer open and bots? Like, I don't know. I'm sure some of these people are still actually playing. This has also gone down, the reviews. So this has drastically gone down, actually. This was like 60, I want to say 62, 63% yesterday. So, and you can see right there, there's their drop. You guys see that? Negative 700, basically. Now, leading up to that, you were already starting to get negative. So right around this point, you actually start getting more negative reviews than positive reviews, just through what appears to be natural gameplay. So it was already starting to go south. This little blip comes out of nowhere. I'm not sure what to make of that, but every other day here was negative. And then you get, yesterday. So some bots still milling around. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. So I'll say these numbers as well. Owner estimations have slightly gone up as well. This has dropped off dramatically, the number of daily active users and all of that stuff. So, Space Special, I appreciate the sub. I think if there was a money grab, it was influenced by the board. I'm not going to call it one thing or the other, but you know, my opinion on Steam Early Access, obviously Steam is something they should do when it's the right time. I've never thought it was the right time, but the more I hear, the more I'm not sure anyone really had a choice. So, you know, what the motives were, no idea. But I will say that the employees that made the game were proud about what they were able to do in such a short period of time. The messaging that I have gotten is it sounds like the decision to go to Steam Early Access came up very quickly, with really no prep time. Other things were being worked on. And so they had to very quickly pivot to this new directive of Steam Early Access. And knowing that, I actually, you know, not to comment on the overall feel of the game, but, you know, putting that together in the period of time they had, they actually, I think they did a fairly decent job, at least for the first, 8 levels. And then it just sort of fell out into the normal stuff, but a short period of time. Yeah, no, I mean, so I covered this, right? I covered this, back in, when it happened in October. I actually knew a couple weeks ahead of time. The team found out in October, middle end of October, and the game was pushed to Steam Early Access December, what was it, 11th? So, I mean, that is the time frame that you're talking about as far as people of the team having to switch focus into making a product ready for Steam Early Access. So, and if any of you had already been playing in phase 2 and phase 3, I think some of you that were playing regularly would understand the challenges that they had in trying to take that direction, right? You know, so I think working with what they had, you know, they did okay. All right, we're not going to go into some of this. Who was that? I need to get a mod for. All right, we're not gonna deal with that. So, you said yourself in a previous video he was against Steam forever, and then suddenly, oh, we'll put it on Steam. Yeah, no, that's that. He said multiple times, we're not going to go to Steam, and then they do. You know, so again, I think if you step back, if you step back and you really look at the last 2 years, things really start to go in a very different direction around June of 2024. That's when we get this whole early access, or sorry, this whole Alpha 2 phase thing that moves into the Steam Early Access. For me, that is the time point where things, to me, seem to have drastically changed. Was really in that June, July 2024 period. So, you know, and I would encourage you to go back and look through some of that. It's actually all in my video. So I have a whole playlist. Let me see if I can find that. I have a whole playlist I put together of, if you're curious, things you should watch. Where's it at? God damn it, come on. There we go. Shareable link. All right, if I put that into here, this should be pushed to all of you. So here's a playlist of all the stuff that I've put out. But, you know, June, July of 2024, is for me really when things kind of got a little crazy. So did that go to YouTube? I don't know if that went to YouTube. Okay, it did. So you can go check that out if you're curious. The genre is dying. It sucks. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I'm going to be real. Like, let's step back and look at the last 6 months for MMORPGs. Right? I mean, does anyone want to do that? Like, you have, you obviously, you start with things like the Warhammer MMO being canceled, Ghost MMO being canceled, New World getting shut down. With that, the Lord of the Rings Amazon MMO being canceled. We move into Ashes of Creation now. We don't know if it's canceled, but we know the studio is getting fired. I don't know where we're going to go with MMOs for the Western side. You know, we obviously still have games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy and stuff that are going okay. But for new products, I don't know. Yeah, Pantheon's there as well. So yeah, ZeniMax as well got canceled. So Monsters and Memories for sure. But again, that's a very EverQuesty game. So we'll see. Hopefully, I hope they do well. I plan to actually play it, or see what it's like. If anybody wants to group with me in it. Yeah, Warhammer Online, what was the Jackalope Games, I think? Is that who was making it? That got canceled, I think. Chrono Odyssey is still there. So that is, I guess that and the Riot MMO are the sort of upcoming maybes. Eastern MMOs are going just fine. It's just Western people don't like to play them, which I can understand some of the reasons, but Arknights, I'm having fun in Arknights, but you know, a lot of folks don't like gacha games. So Monsters and Memories is like, it's very EverQuesty. Throne and Liberty, Lost Ark. Yeah, there's a drop too, right? Isn't Throne of Liberty like, is their peak? I think their peak sub 10K now, right? I've not even looked at Lost Ark. Yeah, Royer, we can play some M&M. John, MMM is DOA. I don't know about that. I mean, is it going to be a big, I think it's a niche game. Oh, we also have EverQuest 3. Wasn't that announced? When was EverQuest 3 announced? That was announced like a couple of years ago, right? Wasn't there mention of EverQuest 3? And I'm not talking about EverQuest Next or Landmark, but actual EverQuest 3 news. I'm pretty sure. Guild Wars 3 supposedly, but who knows? Yeah, I just think the funding just dried up, you know? I don't think studios are willing to pay $200-400 million up front anymore to make a game that's an MMO. I don't think they're willing to do that. Why are you still in the game? We were given a flying mount yesterday, so I was checking to see, but it's expired at this point. So unfortunately, I was going to fly around. We did some flying yesterday, but we were given a lot of, and gold as well yesterday. So don't think EverQuest 3 was ever officially announced. No, I'm pretty sure they did. Let me look. I'm pretty sure. EverQuest 3. See, Daybreak Games is developing a new unannounced EverQuest MMORPG, often referred to as EverQuest 3, with a tentative 2028 release target and active development starting around 2025. Project is in an early concept stage of development and is likely to be a modern reimagining or reboot of the original EverQuest rather than a direct sequel. It is intended to feature challenging hardcore gameplay inspired by Elden Ring, utilizing a mix of premium and microtransaction models, potentially targeting both PCs and consoles. That's what Google is telling me. What are their sources? Redbeard and Reddit. So I would agree that probably reimagining is the likely, because I think also they might have commented they were not given a ton of money. I don't think so. But hey, you know what? Shit, if they upgraded EverQuest graphics and added legit questing systems and stuff like that, I mean, I would be down for it. I don't trust them after EQ Next decisions. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Do we jump deep into it? I don't know. New World closing, AOC closing, so we're not deserving of a good MMO anymore. I don't know, man. Why do you think all the EQ revival projects fail? So EverQuest Next. All right, I don't know what's being said in another language, and that makes me nervous given everything that's going on right now. So we're gonna come in here. Unless somebody can tell me that that's a normal message. Apologies. Anyways, what I was saying, so with EverQuest Next, how do I get my refund for G2G Gold? That's hilarious. EverQuest Next had a similar approach. I often wonder how much of the problems here are actually due to, when you see studios move forward, usually it's going to be, as a new game comes out, there's little improvements, little steps. And, Ashes has tried to do a lot of big things, and that might be part of the problem. Like too many big steps forward all at once. EverQuest Next and Landmark actually did something similar. They also had some very big ideas that were very similar to Ashes of Creation. And I wonder if part of why they failed was the same thing. Like when you're trying to do 4 brand new, complicated things all at once, does that make it infinitely harder to make something work? So the link is Asmongold reviewing that video a year ago. What link? So in a nutshell, what happened? Well, so from everything we've been told, effectively, like the simple part is that the staff were all notified yesterday that they were being laid off tomorrow, February 2nd. The entire studio. So that's in a nutshell what has happened at this point. We don't really know much more beyond that, but we don't know about whether the studio is going to close completely, whether the game's going to cease development completely. We don't know any of that for sure, but I imagine it's hard to develop a game if you fired everyone. So that's in a nutshell what's happened. Steven came out. Steven resigned. Margaret resigned, or was fired, actually, I think is what she said. Steven mentioned a board, which I think was really the first time anyone's heard that, which has raised a lot of questions. Maybe they're outsourcing the entire project. It could be. We don't know. Yeah. I don't know that we'll ever get any information, actually. In many ways, what probably would be best for the game is to not say anything and just step into the shadows for a little bit, you know? That actually would, if they're going to continue the game, that's probably the best path forward. So I don't know that we'll hear anything, but yeah, devs are gone starting tomorrow. So the joke too, as far as the servers go, is if all of the staff are fired, are they going to even know how to turn it off? We don't know that the game itself is shutting down. So the message, I mean, I think you can make some conclusions, but the exact messaging was that the studio was laying off everyone. So, I mean, if there's no one there to make the game, there's no one there to make the game, but there's not been anything official beyond that. No employees coming back to help after they've been fired. I can understand that. Although, you know, if you need a job, you need a job. What game are you going to play next? I don't know. We've been having a lot of conversations about that. A lot of folks talk, you know, Apogea's and testing right now. I've thought about going back and doing just some old school stuff and sort of seeing where we're at. You know, modern day versus old. Play Dune. Is anyone still playing Dune? You know, but Steven had in the past had talked about, you know, the use of AI and outsourcing. So we just don't know. New update for Dune is what I heard. Not sure if it's out yet. Yeah, they dropped off quite a lot, didn't they? Tried Apogea last night, pretty solid. Still new, but definitely piqued an interest. Okay. Well, I might jump into that. Actually, we can, let me see. Let me. Getting bought by. Oh, we're talking about New World? We don't know that for sure, right? I think he said they're in like an NDA or something now, right? So we don't know that they're actually buying it for sure. It would obviously, it probably comes down to what the how much it costs, I would imagine. All right, let me. It snowed again in Tennessee. Yeah, I looked out the window. You have a question? What's that? What was the question? This is Apogea. This is one that a lot of folks have mentioned. I jumped in briefly, so I really don't know very little about this game. Actually, let me. Figure out the sound real quick. There we go. I just bought the game a week ago and this blows. Oh, I know, man. It's still for sale. That's the thing too. I don't know. Is ArcAge making a comeback? Probably not. There is a private server, right? Any new Kickstarter project we can all go to? I do think there's like a, was there not an AI, completely AI made, MMO that was put out? I'm pretty sure. Epitome. There you go. Like it explicitly says, hey, come join the first AI created MMORPG. I was very curious about it. So I don't know how much playing, guys, we're going to do. You know, this is why I was sort of hesitant to jump into another game, just because there's so many people still coming in and asking questions, which I assume there would be, you know, just with the big news. A lot of this went down last night. So, you know, there's probably a lot of folks waking up and just like, oh shit, what's going on? So what are you talking about, Jamie? I start learning the crate and crafting system and this happens. Oh man, it sucks, right? Are the devs laid off tomorrow or in 60 days? The Warren Act requires 60 days. You know, I don't know that. That's been a good question that everyone's been asking. I can only tell you the letter that I read says that they'll all be laid off tomorrow. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I have seen comments that because of that, something about they can pay for 60 days or something like that. The side to that though is that they've there was also the messaging that payroll was like shut off or something. So I don't know. But it's a real thing. Multiple folks confirmed getting the Warren letter yesterday. So it went out to everyone. So Waterman, I appreciate the sub with your Prime. Nexon or Daybreak will get the game. Daybreak does seem to buy stuff, don't they? What did they buy? The Cozy MMO. What was it? So this is Apogea. What was the Cozy? If the company no longer exists, the Warren Act doesn't matter. Well, I think it does, right? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I know nothing about this game, guys. We can run around. I got to tell you, I'm not somebody that minds graphics much. So the graphics side looks fine to me. The camera angles drive me nuts a little bit. I will say that. So, oh, Palia. That's what it was. Yeah. Palia. Daybreak bought that. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they bought that a while back, didn't they? This is Apogea. So this is currently in testing. Yeah, this feels old school. What is which I don't know anymore if old school is a good thing. You know, that wasn't there a meme or something with old school being like people checking out? Let's see if we can find anybody. I don't even know the map. Oh yeah, here's your trait tree. How did I even open that? And so, I mean, these are all your skills. I like this idea, right? I love being able to sort of design your process in a way that you want rather than predetermined. So, still play EverQuest daily. EQ Next and AOC had similar culprits. Yeah, they follow a path that's very similar. You're right. Where's stuff to kill? I think there's somewhere you can go down below ground. I don't know. Maybe I should start a new character and just start over. I barely just started AOC, but I'm equally sad because it is the first MMO I've played since EQ2 that actually interested me. It's, you know, oh yeah, that's what Daybreak owns, right? Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons Online, Magic the Gathering Online, Lord of the Rings Online, Palia, along with EverQuest 2. How long's this playtest? That's a great question. I don't remember. I want to say February 8th or something. All right, there's somewhere you can go underground, and I don't remember what it is. I might just start a new character. What's this? No target. Oh, shit. Okay. It didn't want me to go. Oh, there we go. What's over here? Oh, this is where you start. All right, I think I woke up over here somewhere. Just list of wiki. Are you talking about Daybreak? Daybreak has, yeah. I mean, and especially when you go into SOE as a company, I mean, they've had tons and tons of games. Tons of games over time. So this looks like a cleaner UO. This is the extent of where I've gone. So you can see. Is WildStar coming back? Wouldn't that be wild? We have seen a resurgence of old games. All right, here's your combat. All right, I thought he died, did he? I don't know if people said they've liked this. I don't know what that's about. Rift? Yeah, this is Apogea. Just watched the nice video. I don't take anything Steven or his friends say seriously, but if they actually wanted to outsource a lot of the company to Asia, it would probably make a lot of progress. Probably made a lot of progress faster with better code. I've not watched this video yet. I saw it came out overnight. I returned the game in the beginning when I couldn't get in the server. That was big downfall, right? When your players can't stay on the game, like, you're kind of screwed at that point. Like, there's no really even reason to talk about other stuff if your players can't stay connected. Eastern devs make great MMOs, but pay to win kills them. There's an argument to be had. I heard EU servers were already shut down. For Ashes? I don't think so. When I logged in this morning, everything was still up. Weirdly enough, it put me into a different server that I'd never been in before, but I'm pretty sure. I can't find it. Dustin was linking and watching it last night. I don't know. Do they really have 250 devs? That was always a question. We don't know. Steven never actually said officially that it was that number. I think he always usually said it's like around. You know, he used words that were sort of like almost. Yeah, 250 employees, not devs. That's a good thing to. It's good to pick it. Yes. What's next for me? I don't know, man. We're gonna explore some games together, basically, I think. And we'll see what comes up. Light No Fire is the biggest thing that I've been looking for. We've unfortunately not heard anything about Light No Fire in quite a long time. So, but that's probably the highest on my list of stuff that I want to see. How do I even get around? This also, the movement kind of, I think these are stairs to get up or go down. I'm not really sure. What's a rat shipper? LNF looks good. Yeah. So Ashes of Creation is history now. Well, again, we don't know for sure. I think what we do know is that all of the employees have been told they're going to get fired, let go tomorrow. So we don't know what that overall means for the game. The game could always conceivably be developed by somebody else. I'm not saying it will be, but specific to the game, we don't. There's not been any like official comments on that. So. I don't know what to do in this game. Actually, let's this is our new Ashes of Creation. Yeah, it does have PvP. You know, again, when we talk about people at the top and things, I know everyone is it took everyone off guard, this idea of a board How do I heal? Who else has played this game? How do I sit and stuff? So I gotta make food. Do I have food? I don't think I have food. Do I? I have gold. Where do I buy food? At some point. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Let's just I'm gonna log out completely. How do I go back to? All right, this is make a new character. What the hell? Oh shit. What was that? I gotta pay to make a new character? All right. Well, we'll kill some rats for some cheese then. You only get one free character? It's fake money. They don't charge you. $10 per slot. Oh man. All right. I mean, so how does everyone feel about that? $10 per character slot. Is there also like a monthly fee? Can you also just have unlimited through paying a monthly fee? Because here's where I'm going with that. You know, everyone gets so upset with Eastern payment methods, like charging per character slot. What do people think about that? I think there's rats down here, right? Oh, can I walk that way? No. You're fine with paying per character slot? Okay. Yeah, Wars 2 does it. Depends on how many characters you need. This is not Gorgon. This is Apogea. Even though we're largely talking about Ashes of Creation still. I like making alts. I'd hate the paying per character slot. Yeah. You know, I thought we had rats around here. Did I not see rats? Do I gotta go down, maybe? What the hell is that? Play Dune server. The story in Apogee has me a little worried. I've not played this enough to have any opinions on any of that at this point, but I don't like how that's happening. All right, we're just gonna keep going down. Down, down, down. I thought there were rats. Oh, oh, damn, that's a lot of skeletons. I have a feeling I'll die, right? So we're not gonna go that way. Oh, it's Apogee. That's a good point. Let me change that real quick. Oh, never mind. Patch coming in 10 minutes. All right, guys. Well, we'll pop back over to Ashes of Creation. And yeah. Patch coming in 10 minutes. I don't know. Well, I'll just leave Ashes of Creation open at this point. Actually, give me one quick second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry. Some around the world news posts, nothing else has changed. What were we talking about? Did you see comments from Nice about the Philippines? I've not watched his video. What did he comment on? I've not heard anything. I've also not asked that question, but I mean, I've not heard anything about outsourcing. I don't know who he's talked to either. So I will say you got to be very careful right now because there's, you know, the amount of random messages that I've gotten from various people. Like you just don't know who's real, who's not real. Or what's going on or any of that. So, like I got a couple of Discord messages, you know, hey, I'm on the team. I want to chat. I'm like, all right, do I trust you? Like, or what you're saying what you're saying lining up with other stuff? You know, so you just got to be very, very, very careful about who I chat with. Nice talked about Steven owning another studio. I was told that he owns other businesses. That is something I was told. I do not know much more about that. What did he say? Paraphrasing said, oh, this is what Nice said. The board forced EA, demanded 50 employees to be fired. Steven talked them down to 9, wanted 100 more fired, and would outsource to the Philippines, which is when Steven stepped down. I will say that does line. So some of the information that I got was that Friday night, Saturday morning, the numbers that had been talked about were in the 100 range. I will say that. So, that kind of lines up with that idea because at some point it went from fire 100 people to fire everybody. What's up, Hank? I'm so happy. One of the best Sundays ever, watching all fanboys crying. What a pleasure. I don't think you're going to get any tears out of me, but I just saw some quote story about the whole thing. Who wrote it? Yeah, you know, with so many employees, I have no idea. And a lot of the content creators had existing relationships, obviously, with people working at the studio. So I don't know who's been talked to and about what. The folks that I've been talking to, I do trust to actually be, yes, they are a part of the studio. So, you know, I can only speak to what I've heard. But Steven did talk about outsourcing, right, to other studios. So, you know, to hear someone say that is not super surprising. Some dude put in Discord. Oh, the story. Yeah, people need to be careful. Okay. I'm not trying to be super cagey, but again, when you have things that shift and change like this and money's involved and you have certain actors involved, I think you have to be careful about opening yourself to like legal action. So I don't know. I've not watched anyone else's videos, but I've been very, very careful to make sure that the information I get that I can verify with multiple people is accurate. And so like yesterday, the whole Warren letter, I think I verified that with like 5 people yesterday. So just to make sure, right, before you go out and say something. Nice Gaming made a video where he said new owners sold code to another company, private IP sold. So I talked to somebody that's, I think, pretty well in the know based off the position. And the answer that I got about, why does TikTok always think we're not streaming? Why does it do this shit? So the answer that I got, I did ask about who owns the IP. And the answer I got was it's not really known. So I don't know that anything's been sold to anybody at this point. I don't know that we'll actually know, but I did specifically ask yesterday about who owns the IP. Because the other thing that I was told was that there's the potential, the way all this has gone down, again, I don't know if this is true, for lawsuits to start happening. And, you know, do you see hypothetically, do you see Steven sue somebody? I don't know. So, you know, I don't know that everything's been sold. I was told that, again, what I was told was that the person I talked to at least did not know who actually even owned the IP at that point. Nicest source implied Steven was suing the board. That would be similar to what I've been told as well. We'll see if it happens, but Hope Harder, bro, who are you talking to? It sucks, man, but you know, you move on. I'm more worried about the people that are actually affected by this that no longer have a paycheck. So that's the part that sucks. But that would be similar, yes, to what that would line up a little bit more. I did hear about the whole board thing and potential for Steven to sue them. But like I said, the IP, have you moved on though? We were just starting to play Apogea before the patch. They are bringing it down for a patch. So we will move on, you know? I mean, this is literally got people probably waking up that do not know what's going on. So I think it's pretty fair for a couple of days to kind of be available to answer questions. It's not that they don't have a paycheck. They've been told they won't even receive their last. Yeah, they've been told they won't receive their last paycheck. Yep. So layoff is your fault, only yours. Hank, why are you being such a dick? Generally, I like you, but you know, am I reading that wrong? Are you talking to me or someone else? A lot of the team is asking whether things are legal as well. So again, I think you have the potential for issues with the user side, but also the employee side, the way all this is going down. The other thing that I was told as well is that potentially, Hank is always a dick. My karma's good, man. I don't know what happened to you in your young life to be so high-powered dickish at times, but I'm pretty sure there's therapists for that if you go talk to somebody. What was I saying? Oh, so the other thing that I've been told is that potentially, you know, that any money from Steam is still locked up at Steam at this point. So I'm not sure. Hank, I want to point something out to you. I've been following this game for, 9 years. I've invested a lot of time. I want to ask you a question. How many years have you invested into going into random YouTube channels to comment about the game? Because that also seems to indicate you have been just as invested in this game as me. So the board could be referenced to Board of Investors. Yeah, and I don't know that we'll get much information. Wow, Midnight's looking pretty good. Classic Plus. I've thought about that as well. You know, I was a big WoW player up until probably Pandaria. And then I've kind of come and gone, but Midnight does look good. Hank is just a novice troll. Hank is a pretty high level troll, I will say. I don't think he's a novice. Everyone loves Hank. So I have to tell, and I think he might know this, I don't know. All the content creators chatter with each other when Hank hits their videos. So that's how it is. What happened to Ashes? Well, as of right now, what we know for sure is that all of the studio were sent letters indicating that they will be laid off tomorrow. And that is, and Steven also resigned. Margaret's no longer there. So that is really the extent of what we know for sure. Now with that, there's been questions about, well, is the game going to be developed any further? Is the game dead? That's not been officially commented on. Now I think you can kind of make some connections, right? If your studio's fired, then who's making the game? But that's not actually been officially commented on. Steven's comment as well was more, he didn't really comment on that, and he made clear that this was a personal comment, not speaking for the company as well. So there's his comment if you've not seen it though. How do I get my money back on Steam? The way I understand it, several folks have been trying to get refunds and they've been denied. So, how is this? Honestly, this is my blunt thought. I don't know what I think I missed whatever you were saying. Yeah, I think I missed that part. You and me, Hank. You and me, brother. I don't know, Hank. Can you wanna start covering something? Steam release was released. Yeah, that's the other question that's unclear as well. So the Kickstarter makes a claim that they will reimburse everyone's money if they don't release. And so then the question becomes, what does release mean? Game population halved after all the news. Yeah, we had that. We pulled up that as well. Yeah, go back and find it again. So here's your there's the announcement right there, and there's your drop. Interestingly enough, there are still 6,600 people playing, and if you go to reviews, this also keeps dropping. So not unexpected. It is curious why there's 6,000 people playing, right? Steam Movie was released. Well, yeah, there is a comment. Steven actually has there was a tweet where they talked about the Steam Early Access release. So I don't know. That's something that somebody would have to probably litigate. I don't know. I warned people. I warned some of the creators that this would happen. This idea that somehow they are a part to this. It's all of you content creators. You all did this. If you've paid attention to anything that I've made, I think that you would probably understand that I've been one of the more narrow, like what's going on here kind of people. So, but anyways. All right, I'm kind of tired of you. So, Steam didn't refund yours. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've seen anyone say they've gotten Steam refunded in any way. Now, I will say that, you know, when you look at Chronicles of Illyria, people were able to eventually go back and get their money back from that through the payer. But, you know, that's not Steam. So I don't know. There are certain content creators, some of them in your chat right now, who deserve the blame. Yeah, I warned everyone. We went through something similar to this with Chronicles of Illyria. You know, we did a show for COE for a while, and after they also sort of went south, there were a lot of like, "Oh, you guys did this. You know, you're responsible." It's like, look, I mean, I got cheated out of money too. I don't know what you think I got out of this. You know, I would encourage you to go look at all my videos and see that I was never over here. Actually, I got so many comments about how negative I am. So what the hell just happened? Lost my chat. So I don't know. I don't think it's fair for me anyways, but I mean, I've been very blunt about telling people don't buy the game, or I wouldn't buy the game at this point. I need to restart something here. To each their own. And FYI, I actually I stopped using any kind of referral code a long time ago. So actually this channel took off after I stopped using my code. So. All right. I'm not getting messages over on, what's going on here now? Sorry, I use Steam, stream.bot, and for some reason it has stopped consolidating messages, and I don't know why. Thank you. I appreciate the sub. The fuck? I think streamer.bot might be broken, which is going to make it very hard to interact with you all. I don't know why it's not working. Oh, there we go. Came back. So ASC is done, yes. For all intents and purposes. The studio got announcements that they will all be terminated tomorrow. So. I don't know what else to say, guys. I will put together sort of hopefully a final timeline video that once I talk to folks, to try to account for what's going on. But I hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. But do we know when the servers will shut down? No, we do not. Now, from what I've been told, is to not expect it to be shut down tomorrow. That it's unclear when it will be shut down. But that it probably will still be up, you know, even once everyone's let go. So the game's dying. I mean, they're firing, from what they've said, they're firing all of their faculty, or all of their employees. So, you know, if there's going to be any refund, it's probably going to end up coming down to some sort of legal action. So, we've done something similar with we saw something similar with Chronicles of Illyria. So wild, man. Was there a recent update? Not as far as what's happening to the studio or employees or anything like that. There's been no official announcements beyond what came yesterday. So. Anyways. You know, PI was obviously a waste at this point. We'll see if we get released from any NDAs. That'll be interesting. There's already some people chatting about it, so that'll come down to what they do with the studio itself. But but without restarts from AOC, team servers will be. I mean, yeah, I think. And who's going to keep playing, right? This is why I don't back MMOs anymore on Kickstarter. Yeah, I haven't. Ashes was the last one that I backed a long time ago. I've gotten off the Kickstarter shit a long time ago. So. And it was installed instantly. No. I'm not an Ashes player, but I've seen what's going on. It's crazy, man. The way NPCs were placed around made it seem like a scam at the first place. You know, I've talked to somebody that said if he was given just a little bit of time, could have fixed that very quickly, but it is what it is. I noticed almost no bots around Joeva an hour ago. Really? Yeah, I've not jumped around to actually look. I wouldn't be surprised. There's no point anymore, right? Get some insider to accidentally forget server source code or binaries on a memory stick. I don't think it's worth it for that, man. What other MMOs are people playing besides WoW? I mean, there's a lot that folks are Guild Wars 2, you know, ESO, there's folks, there's people still in Final Fantasy. There's still, I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't know, there's been a lot of smaller stuff as well. So we're going to see if we do a podcast this morning, tonight. I'll see if they're available or not to do one last go around of the Ashen Forge. So. Yeah, Pantheon's another one. Imminent, Monsters and Memories, Epigea. So there's stuff out there if you want to take a peek and kind of see what it's about. There's some private servers for old games as well, but you know, new stuff is hard to come by anymore. Guild Wars Reforged has been fun. Man, it's been so long since I played that. Is there a chance this game will be saved? I would say very, very minuscule, but who knows? Go play WoW, TBC. Stop believing and supporting any Kickstarter MMOs or games. New wave of players on Arcade. Yeah, that's the private server, right? That you're talking about. Pantheon did outlast AOC. How does everyone feel about that? That is true. I think Pantheon has found a model that works very well for them as far as funding and all of that. You know, the Pantheon model of develop a little bit, demonstrate people like it, get money, develop more, demonstrate people like it, get money. I think that is likely the best way forward for most MMOs at this point. I think the time of putting out completely developed $400 million MMOs is done. So Pantheon didn't overextend. No, they didn't either. So I don't know. I do think that's probably the best model for anyone wanting to do an MMO anymore. New World Rumors, Face Punch reviving it. Yeah, that would be interesting to see if that happens. I imagine you'd probably get more PvP out of it too. Will Pantheon ever release a finished product though? Well, I mean, that gets into the question, do MMOs ever release finished products? Like, aren't they always under development? Smells like a class action lawsuit. It'll be interesting to see what happens for sure. Both from an employee standpoint, but then also a player standpoint. So. Who knows? The only MMOs that will survive will be the ones with big famous IPs. That's what we're seeing right now. Again, I've always said I think the only thing that kills WoW is WoW. Final Fantasy is probably the same, just because of the IP behind it. Arcade Chronicles, isn't that more single player though? Isn't that going to be more akin to like a Where Winds Meet than MMO? Am I wrong in that? I'd make an EQ successor in a heartbeat if I had the skill set. Well, that's where Monsters and Memories comes in. Hardcore MMOs never work. Prove me wrong. I think you're right. Everyone keeps telling me, well, not everyone. People keep saying go do Mortal Online too, but I don't think so. So sad, man. This looked promising. Yeah. Yeah. A Chronicle is not an MMO. That's what I thought. So what am I going to play now? I really don't know. We were going to do Apogea right now, but they're apparently coming down for a patch. So we're just chilling. You know, one of the other signs that I think gets missed that we probably should have picked up on a little bit sooner too, as far as the state of everything. I know a couple of weeks ago, some of the folks that used some of the stock music. So I think Nice, for example, he got a lot of copyright claims for that old music. So clearly something had shifted a few weeks ago when it came to licensing of that music. Perhaps that would have been a good starting point to say, hey, the fuck's going on? But, hindsight, right? Scars of Honor, that's another one people have been talking about. I know Royer's talked about that a lot. I've not looked into it very much at all. It sounds like it has a pretty interesting skill tree. So, Project Gorgon, that's been brought up a lot of times. I've jumped in that briefly a couple of times over the years. I've never really played it in depth. So I'm pretty much done with all MMOs. I mean, hopefully not. I'm a big gacha person though. So, but I'm pretty sure if I started streaming like Arc Knights or something, Epic 7, I'd probably get yelled at by most of you. So I do that on my own time. How does the owner and CEO of a company resign in protest? Good question for him. I wish I could talk to him. I would love to talk to him. I don't think he'll ever talk to me, but Gorgon is another of many EQ clones, but doesn't have also like a pretty in-depth skill system. Isn't there actually a way to like gain skills while you're dead or something too? In that, I don't know. I've not really. It's been so long since I've messed with it. Play what you enjoy. I know. Maybe I should just jump straight into gotcha stuff. We'll see. I'm really waiting for Light No Fire. Light No Fire is the one thing that keeps me going at this point. That I'm hopeful for. So, yes, there is the Hoyoverse MMO as well. You know, that'll be interesting to see. I actually think combining gotcha mechanics within an MMO might make sense too when it comes from a business standpoint. But Bellatorius, yeah, I was in that briefly. I don't know. Didn't that feel more like a single player game too, or am I wrong in that? Project Gorgon is pretty complex. Yeah. This really sucks. I just started playing over the last 4 to 5 days, poured 50 hours in the game. Yeah. It does suck, man. Will I join a refund lawsuit? I don't even have a clue. So, I turned off referrals a long time ago. I do think that's actually a good point to bring up, though. When you talk about some people, is like the referral system influencing opinions. I think when I turned off referrals, I don't even know. It was probably like maybe like 20. It wasn't even very much at all. But I turned those off several months ago. Actually, because I didn't feel like I wanted to. I didn't feel like I would promote it that way. So. If you go back and look at all of the last several videos, all the shorts, there's no referral code in them. So. Yeah, I did not have very many referrals at all. You guys have to realize, as far as the channel goes, you know, the channel exists. This channel has existed for like 12 years. In the last 60 days or so, like, especially in the shorts, like there's been, I don't even know how many, it's 80% of the views of the lifetime of this channel, 80-90% have been in the last like 60 days. And so, you know, I just didn't get referrals, which is fine. Let's be real. What did anyone actually expect to get out of that anyways? But, you know, you do have to question the folks that have thousands of referrals, right? Like, are you a little motivated there? You know, shorts sort of exploded recently. Yeah, no, that's what had made this channel take off, were the shorts. So. But yeah, y'all can go back and look. You don't have to take my word for it. I stopped using referrals months ago. So I don't advertise them through streamerbot.bot anymore. I haven't done that for a long time. So where is Narc? I know everybody keeps waiting for Narc to pop back up. You found me through TikTok. Yeah, TikTok as well. That has been an up and down ride for Ashes too, I will say. So TikTok boomed for a little bit, got really sour for a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of gone up and down. Looks like Star Citizen will come out first. Yeah, that's true. Sucks, guys. It sucks. Really does. Let's see. So I went to sleep. What did I miss? Is it for sure dead now? I mean, I would likely move on. It's my advice is what I would tell you. So. Narc does have another channel, yeah, and he's doing pretty well. He's doing much better than he did with Ashes. So. Nice said in his video, the code base went external. I've not heard that, but I've also not asked that. I will say I did ask whether the IP was still with Steven or not, and was told that was unclear who owned the IP. So I don't know. Narc is a very good editor. Narc does a really good planning and editing videos. He really does do a really good job with that. So, you know, Narc's done really well. I'm a new player, just bought the game. I hope you're joking. Go get a refund. Do not put any time into this game at this point. I mean, Narc was right about a lot of stuff over the years, for sure. Narc was very smart. You know, I got to know him a little bit through raiding in Rift. Narc's a very smart person. Like he's very, very intelligent. So you know. He was a great raid leader, actually. Believe it or not. I don't feel bad for those who dropped thousands on founders pockets packages, nor should you. I don't think anybody's asking you to feel sorry for them. Yeah, I don't think, I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. You know, you live and you learn. You know, I've done Kickstarter enough. You at least I anyways, understand there's an inherent risk. Right. I had already, you know, Crowfall had already come and went. So you understand that it sucks, but I mean, I'll move on. I'm fine. Yeah. And any more, the people more recently, yeah, they spent more like $50 to $100. Yeah. The people that spent 10 grand though, I have a feeling I might know who some of them are. I do wonder how they feel. The people that spent 10 grand up front and then have also spent how many thousands of dollars in cosmetics. I also really have not. I've only bought minimal cosmetics. I didn't buy any of the early access cosmetics. I didn't feel, I didn't wanted to see a game first, but what was 10 grand? That was like the top tier Kickstarter was $10,000. So based off some of the behaviors that I see, especially within PI members, I think I can probably pick out who has spent $10,000 if I tried really hard. I'm not going to mention their names here because I don't know for sure. But, you know, even yesterday when I posted that video in the morning about asking the question of whether Steam was going to be sold or not, or whether Ashes of Creation was going to be sold as the studio was going to be sold when I put that video out, like I got pings. Right. From, you know, it's a sensationalist thing. You don't know what you're talking about. You do this for clicks. I'm like, look, I can't lead if you are willingly wanting to be blind, then that's you. I can only point you in a direction. Right. But I'm pretty sure those are the people that probably spent a lot of money on the game. So, did I see DA leaks? I did, actually. I got to look into them more. I've not looked super deep into them. So the gist was that, and I never know if DA is telling the truth either. But like, was it something to the effect of a lot of the RMT accounts got reinstated that he used or something like that? Was that what he was posting? He's posting screenshots. All right, I'll have to go find them. Sometimes the fanboys are worse than the haters. I can tell you it comes from both sides, man. Shit runs downhill no matter whose asshole it comes out of. So it all flows the same. Just depends on who's had more fiber one day to the other. Am I going to play? Probably not. This is just whatever. What's the point in playing? I guess we can take a look. Let's go see if we have any bots, maybe. I mean, we can do that. I mainly wanted to get on and just fly around, but my flying mount is done, unfortunately. It was for PTR use only, and it was only for 3 hours. So we exhausted that last night. Can't wait for Camelot Unchained. I mean, hey, they're still going, right? Yeah, I think did they play Arcade together? Is that what that connection was? Something like that. I'm pretty sure there were several people because that was always the curiosity, as well as how many of the people in some of these other guilds like Envious actually had played with Steven and Arcade. Like, you even had some people claiming that they had done Pathfinder campaigns and stuff, but I think Steven pushed back on that. So yeah, if you've just bought the game, get a refund. Go back, get a refund. Do not purchase any skins. Go get your refund because the game is likely going to shutter. Well, the servers anyway. The game, that's been one of the, yes, the game is bad right now. It has been slowly, I would say the first 2 weeks of Steam Early Access generally seem to go okay. And after that, it's just been, yeah, been downhill. So the $10,000 backers are the ones that are going to fall for AOC Resurrected later this year. Yeah, Narc is still around. Somebody just put his channel in. It's Moggy's. If you go in and go into YouTube, search that, you'll find him. He's actually done very well. So hats off to him. All right, let's see what we got, guys. Who we're going to see who is still in the game. Because again, here's my curiosity. We talked about this. This was always the goddamn hell. This is part of the shit that always drives me nuts. I'm level 25. This thing is level 5. Why is it aggroing me? DA is a Phoenix Initiative who was the guild leader of Envious. So, you know, there was always questions about what were the true numbers, right? Of players, because whenever the game would come down for a patch, you always had 3,000 to 4,000 that were still connected, right? And so now we've seen this huge drop. So this is when the announcement was made, and you see this huge drop, and now we're flatlined, but we're flat at 6.6. Basically 6,500 is a flat line. So what is this? You know, is this a combination of bots? Like, is this how many bots we're actually looking at? That's huge. If that is, that's like a large number. But, you know, the game, this also counts people that just have their patcher open. So we don't know how, you know, it could also be a significant number of people that close the game, but the patcher is still open. So now we can compare that and let's see what we see running around. Let's see. This person, who is this? Probably a bot. The way they're standing on top of each other, they're pointing to the same. Those are both of those are probably bots. That's definitely a bot. Who's this? Definitely a bot. Definitely a bot. We actually reported that one several times. Definitely bot. All right, how many? Anybody keeping track? I should put up a screen thing where we can count. That's a bot. I'm not sure. Probably not, but I'm not sure. So 1 out of how many was that? 10? Lucky Star's a bot guild. We know that. I don't know, man. Where did DA post this? I don't know. Apparently there's screens though. I'll be right back. Holy shit, I just looked at some of the aforementioned DA files. Holy shit. Fricks, did you see the one about Arcade? Oh, I don't have it to show you. I was sorry, I'd have to go. I was reading messages. But that's something we can put together. God damn it, what's going on? Why is my shit all tangled? Hey guys, I'm just gonna be blunt with you. I'm not probably gonna put that stuff on a screen at this point. Just being blunt. I don't mind if somebody links where to find them, but I'm not gonna post them up here. Just again, because when you have highly emotional changes of stuff like this, I want to be very careful and very mindful about what I post anywhere. So shit get all tangled. I mean, the gist of what I just saw had something to do with Arcade and finding songs from getting music out of the AAIP as to be referenced in the Bard abilities or something like that. So, ooh. I mean, I don't have like a direct link. These are literally like Discord messages. So I don't have like a link posted anywhere, but if somebody does have it up somewhere, that's fine. If somebody wants to drop a link, I'm not going to block it. So, holy fuck. Why did the studio close down? I heard the game is cooked now. You know, the ins and outs of why, hopefully we'll find out. Don't know all of the details. Financially seems to be the big reason. But what we do know is all of the staff received letters yesterday, warn letters saying that they were going to effectively fire all of the employees tomorrow. So that's where we're at. I was going to log in this morning, but what's the fucking point now? Exactly. I'm only here because I'm super confused. Confused? Did I just make up a new name or a new word? Super curious about what players are still in. And I think we can see the bulk of these folks are bots. So, unfun. My King, we reported My King. So, definitely bots. Probably a bot. I don't even fucking know, man. Whatever. Ooh, I'm starting to get cold. Phantom X playing Ashes with all of his friends right now. Don't say that shit. Yes, my friends are the bots. That is correct, Richie. I'm just trying to figure out how we can kill them all. So, damn it, I should have got coffee when I got up. Servers are shutting down tomorrow, I heard. So that is unclear. Just to put that out there, I actually did ask whether the servers would come down tomorrow. What I was told was no. Now, I don't know all of the ins and outs, but what I was basically told is that would have to be some sort of arrangement or something done between Amazon and Intrepid. So now without server bounces, I mean, the servers are going to turn to shit anyways, but so we don't know for sure if the server, well, I'm pretty sure it won't come down tomorrow. Hey, look at these bots, guys. Look how many are coming together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 3 are all running the same path. Holy hell. Look at this shit. Y'all, the game's dead. I don't know. Literally, these are all bots. Oh my God. Holy fuck. I don't think they heard the news. I know, right? It's crazy, man. What is gold? Does anybody know what gold costs? What is gold costing right now? Stop killing them. Who cares about going corrupt? I mean, the problem with that is I actually would drop some nice shit. But you're right. Who cares? Well, yeah, our Apogea, they had a patch, and so I just loaded this back up. And right now we're just fucking about, basically. I was curious how many people that we see that are just bots, and basically that is all of them. I don't know. What do you guys think? We've maybe seen 2 people that are legit, maybe. These are all bots. Literally every single one of them. Lucky Star's a bot guild. The problem with the gear, I was given physical damage gear, and I'm a magical damage class. So, yeah, it had an update again. It did have an update today, or a patch. I don't know what it was, but I mean, that's the question, right? When you look at the current Steam numbers, right? This has basically stayed flat. So what, 6588, it's currently 66. So there's maybe been 50, 60 people join. So that raises the question, how many of these are bots? You can't give a warn notice and not have a job the next day if the information online is correct. That's what a lot of people have been saying. I don't know anything about that law though. But yeah. So then the question is, well, what if they pay for 60 days? Like pay, I don't know. I have no idea, but all I know is it fucking sucks for them. So. Warn notice starts Monday. I was gone all day Friday and Saturday, waking up, checking Discord this morning, felt like a fever dream. Yeah, the best way I can compare this, I don't know how many of you would have been around during the SOE days when Sony Online Entertainment got sold to, what was it, Columbus Nova? Prior to becoming Daybreak Games. This has felt very similar to that. So. So the game dead before it started. That's the suspicion, right? That, I mean, they've not come out and said the game is dead, but I don't know how you make a game if you fired all of your staff. Right. I don't know how you make that game without anybody. Now apparently, and I've not confirmed this with anybody myself. Folks were saying in chat that in Nice's video, he mentioned that potentially the code has been outsourced somewhere. Who said that? Is that what he said? I've not watched Nice's video, so. Yeah, that bot did you catch that? Yeah, something about pay for a hamburger Tuesday for, I don't know, something for a burger. I would say they're getting smart, except for the fact that they are still doing this. So, Nice said that, but what does outsource even mean? It sounded like, I've not watched this video, but it sounded like people were saying that the code is going to be worked on somewhere else outside of the country. Or something. I don't know. I've not watched this video. I'll have to go and watch it. He said Intrepid employees told him the code base has went external, whatever that means. Yeah, and I don't know what that means. I've not heard it. I've not had anyone tell me that. So, I mean, look, the big games, the big studios, we're not looking to get into MMOs anyways, right? Like MMO funding is drying up everywhere. So before any of this even happened, like I don't think you were ever going to sell this to any company. Nobody was going to buy this. Now with all of this, unless it's a really good deal. Like I'll buy it for $5,000. They want to sell it to me. That's part of the confusing part where when I've talked to some of the folks is sort of, I think the expectation, so what was being requested was a drastic downsizing of staff, and that number sort of changed over time. And apparently what I was told is like Friday-ish, that it had gone from requesting 50 people be terminated to like 100 people being terminated. And then that just transitioned to everyone. And so I think there was some surprise and just letting the entire studio go, because I think internally there was this thought, well, are they going to just shrink us down? Like a number I had heard was like 70, shrink us down and basically soften the rough edges and then release the game. The other thing I saw was potentially like a September release. So this sort of sudden letting everyone go, I don't think anyone expected this extreme at this stage, but we'll see what else I can get information-wise today. Yeah. Does it not seem like the PTR event was a last-ditch money grab? I mean, did anybody pay for the PTR though? I don't know. I mean, I think all of that also speaks to they didn't know, like, the staff did not know like this was happening. The other thing I've heard pretty consistently is that staff in general have been in the dark about all this. Actually, some of the folks I talked to yesterday, you know, as Saturday was sort of going to shit, you know, as Saturday was just like really going to shit, and people were posting LinkedIn stuff, and there were all these comments and all this stuff. As all of that was happening, you know, there were a lot of people like, oh, they're not even in Discord talking about this. They weren't talking to the staff either. Like the people I talked to, it was complete silence. Like they were also without any sort of understanding. Nobody had come to them to tell them either. Like the first thing they heard yesterday, from what I was told, was the warn letter. So. Also, Steam did pay out till 1:30. Yeah, my understanding from what I was told is that they don't have all the Steam money, but and that's just what I was told. So I don't know what's true or not. Fun fact: New World outlived AOC. So did Pantheon. Let that one settle. All the folks that talk shit about Pantheon, who's still standing? With 400 hours in a game, hard to predict, but about 70, 90%. I mean, we're looking at all bots right now. Of course, nobody's going to play it anymore, but like these are all, like literally everything that we've run into here. These are all bots. There's a bot. Who's up here? What game am I going to move to? I'm not sure. What? I mean, we can do a poll, I guess, or people can let me know what they would like to see. There's a bot. There's bots. Look at all these bots running around. Look at all these people. Everything in here. That probably is not, but everybody else is bot. Go to Joeva. I don't want to run all the way to Joeva. You're playing? Oh, okay. We'll play something, guys. I don't know. I got to think about it. I really don't know. So I think I want to probably move out of this perpetual. I want to move sort of out of the, hey, we're going to play games that are in alpha or something like that. I think I'm kind of over that at this stage. You know what I mean? So do not buy Ashes of Creation. That's just, if you're asking how is the game, I would tell you don't even ask that question. Plot twist is just make all the botters quit playing. Yeah, right? People logging in to say goodbye. Okay, well, that makes sense. But I think MMOs are a huge question mark going forward. I'll probably eventually do a video on that. I have a lot of ideas that really did expand outside of Ashes that I've just never really done. Because, you know, frankly, I don't have time. You know, so I've had to, you know, I have a wonderful family, wonderful wife, kids, and I'm on by a job, you know, I have a career. So everything that I've ever done, that's partly why we stream so early, you know, Saturday, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. is so that I can have my fun doing this and, you know, not have to worry about work and family and stuff. But so for me, the hard part's time, but I actually have a lot of videos that have been spinning around in my head just in general that I'll maybe look into doing some scripts and stuff and trying to, I've had fun learning the process. I've had a lot of fun learning the, everything, editing, script writing, learning YouTube, learning shorts versus, you know, long form versus TikTok. It's amazing how different strategies are from just like short YouTube shorts to TikTok. You'd think they're the same, but they're not. So it's been fun, but we'll see about moving into other ways. So I work in the medical field. One of the EU servers is having a funeral. Oh, really? That sucks. That's sad. On the first at the church to say, yeah, that's sad. Oh, hello. Oh, one of my friends actually interviewed with you this season, and yesterday we found your YouTube channel. Well, shit. Hello. Yeah. I have a lot of folks I work with that know I do this, but they have never found me. Do you think this was a scam from inception? No, I do not. I really don't. I think a lot of what we are seeing is a series of poor management decisions that have led directly to where we're at now. No. A lot of swearing. I don't swear at work, so. Yeah, it is. It's fun. You know, you got to enjoy life, guys. Life is important to, it's important to be able to laugh and have fun and, live your life, live your best life, right? It's short. I can tell you as I've gotten older, life starts to shorten, man. It does start to, your time starts to shrink, and, the time you have left starts to get less useful as you get older. So, you know, you gotta have fun, right? That's why I try not to let people bring me down or anything like that. You know, I enjoy this. This is something I've loved to do. I always talk about that actually when I interview people, as was mentioned in chat. I always talk about being a lifelong gamer. I don't shy away from it at all. Yeah, man, you're old as fuck. I ain't that old. I mean, people have been fucking for a long time, so I'm not that old. You know, you gotta. Phantom X is like 62. Shrix, I'm about to ban you. And I'm going to unfriend you on Discord as well. You know, you gotta keep moving forward. You know, just have fun, enjoy your shit, and like what you do. This is fun for me. And I think generally people that have kind of hung out with me long term have fun being here, and that's the environment we try to make, right? So. Just a fun place to chat, hang out, experience stuff together. What it's all about. Kidding. I'm pretty sure you were like the same age. Oh, actually, you know, someone posted yesterday as this was all going down. Oh, I think it was Rive Genesis in one of our Discords started serially posting pictures of like some of our earliest shows on this channel. And damn, I look young, man. I look incredibly young. It's wild. Although the pictures he was posting are legitimately from like 12 years ago. So Do you think they'll keep the game going? I doubt it. We don't know. They've not said that, but I mean, there's kind of two ways it can go, right? What is this, bro? As long as you retain the stash, I date you. Oh, Royer, man, we got to hook up later. Oh, that sounded bad. Shit, I don't remember what I was saying now. Oh, I think there's two logical directions, right? And I really don't know which way they would do this. Well, I guess there's three. One is that the studio all gets fired, and they just take the loss, and everything ceases to exist. Like that's one angle, right? The next would be they just sell everything to another party. Literally everything, code, IP, computers, all of it just gets sold to someone else, and that's sort of the last we hear about it. The third, which is probably less likely, but certainly possible, is that, and this is, I guess, what Nice's video might have sort of hinted at, would be that they do close Intrepid Studios, but they move the development of Ashes to a different studio or a different company with different people. And so they keep it, they keep it, whatever the board is, they keep it. They just have other people do it. Those are your kind of, I think, your three possibilities. So I think Star Citizen is next. I mean, for all the crap that Star Citizen gets, they're still going. Same with Pantheon. Two very different models, but yeah, they're all still going. So I hope they will refund us. I doubt it. I mean, you can always, I think the only way you look at getting refunded at this point is through a, like a lawsuit of some sort. I think that's probably the only way that happens. Which, you know, you might find people that do that. I don't know. If somebody, you know, there were several people that went in and sued Chronicles of Illyria. So by all measures, Ashes of Creation has been a much bigger game than Chronicles of Illyria. So if somebody went in and sued Soulbound Studios, which is still in lawsuit, by the way, I don't think it's been resolved. You know, is it a fair shot that somebody sues Intrepid? Maybe. So we'll see. You know, there's a lot of money stuff tied into this. So there's a lot of us that buy cosmetics that we don't have yet, and we never will get at this point. So can you go back and request the money? I don't know. What's the next MMO you're going to play? I really don't know. I really don't know. We talked about Apogea right now, but that's still testing, and I'm kind of burned out on the whole testing part at this point. So I really don't know. RuneScape? Maybe. People keep talking about Monsters and Memories. I think that comes out when, like June? But that's also early access, so I'll have to read into that. Yeah, so I don't know. I really don't know. Light No Fire is my next. That's always been the game that I've actually a lot of times talked about how Light No Fire was kind of overtaking Ashes in my interest a while back, but we've not heard anything about Light No Fire forever. So everyone keeps saying Mortal Online 2. I'm going to pass. What does it cost? What does Mortal Online 2 cost? Is there a box cost, and is there a sub? Guild Wars 2. I've heard a lot of folks. I did Guild Wars 2 for their holiday event for Halloween. It was okay. It's a box and a sub. How many players did they have? So is it through their own launch, or is it through Steam? $40 unless it's on sale, 30 days free, 15 a month. It's a pretty standard pricing then. It's on Steam. Oh, so I can actually go look. Okay, let me see. So I can actually search Mortal Online. What do they got? Mortal Online 2's charts. You want me to play this? Hey, look, did this peak come after everyone quit playing Ashes? Is that what that came from? Project Gorgon? A lot of people have mentioned that too. I mean, we got 10 times the bots in Ashes right now. I do have Star Citizen. I think I gave them like $25 at some point. So I have access, but I've not touched that ever, really. Maybe the question has been answered before, but how is it who is going to own the IP and content? That's a good question. I did ask that question yesterday, and the answer I got back was it's unclear. At least from the people that I've spoke to, it was not clear who had IP ownership. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Apparently, Nice Gaming has said that they've shipped the code out to external sources. So it might be with someone else. I don't know. I would have to assume it's probably not with. I don't know why. I guess my question would be, why would it stay with Steven, right? If he's resigning from the studio, like if it was his, he could just take it with him, and he's not doing that. So Turtle WoW, didn't that get shut down? I played Guild Wars 2 in beta and at launch, quit about a year in with my Reddit. It's still an amazing game. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Guild Wars 2. Turtle WoW is still pretty big. Oh wait, didn't they have like a queue? Wasn't there even a queue to get into it? It was so popular. Did I hear that right? I mean, I had thought about going back to Midnight, but Steven resigned the creative director position. I assume that he meant he still maintained his financial portion of Intrepid. Question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Remember when they showed off those weather systems and you literally never saw them working in game? There's a lot of that, my man. A lot of that. So, which MMO is everyone going to from Ashes? There's been a lot of suggestions. The most common one popping up seems to be Guild Wars 2 or actually Project Gorgon's come up a lot this morning, but are their servers closing at some point? We don't know when, but I'm guessing yes. We're never going to see the Tolnar now. You really think you were? How much of the Tolnar do you think was actually done? How much of the Underrealm do you think was actually done? Who's Fireman and where are they wanting to trade? I'm not giving you anything, so if you're giving me something, show me. Otherwise, I'm going to close this. Should have just stuck with Unreal Engine 4 for sure. I think we would have been much further along than we are now. Did I see your DM? No. Let me look. Was it through Discord? Oh, he's around. Okay. Where was he chatting? I mean, I wish Narc well. I need a new game. I'm crying. This was my first MMO experience. It was a 10 out of 10. RIP Ashes. Thank you for everything. I appreciate the super chat. The social interactions, level 24 fighter, 100K away from dinging. You know, I would take from this that hopefully that experience you have found is a community-based one. and that you can find that community in another game. I mean, that's the beauty of MMOs anyways, right? The whole idea of being able to find people to hang out with and play with. I'm sure there's good people around to play with. So, you know, we will all find somewhere to move to. And, you know, it sucks. It really sucks. But, you know, we can't control it. So you accept and you learn and you move forward. So, we'll see if the Riot MMO happens. But I do appreciate the super chat. So let's see. So after this, we have no more hope and no more MMO. There's a lot of MMOs out there. It's just sort of, what do you want to do? Most of them are old, but still functioning. Hear Me Out, EverQuest 2. Oh, I love me some EverQuest 2, man. EverQuest 2 was peak when it was released. Actually, I did play their classic server for a little bit. So back to Pantheon and Visionary Realms. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff out there. Margaret changed her Discord saying to Heartbroken. Yeah, I think she also put that in like LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere. Do we have any server down date? No. It likely is not tomorrow. Gonna miss how you say certificates. Do I say it weird? Do I say certificates weird? Did you say down tomorrow? No, I said I don't think it will be down. There was a question of whether, because all of the firing is tomorrow, is whether the servers go down tomorrow. And the information I got from that was no, that the servers will likely not. I mean, that they didn't know when the servers were going to go down, but it was likely not tomorrow. They'll have no more control, right? If they're terminated, the employees have no way to like turn servers on or off. So it's really unclear when that would all happen. MO2 is trash, 2,000 hour player here. Yeah, I really have no intention of going there. So I don't know, man. I don't think it's, from everything I've heard about it, no shade to them, I don't think it's for me. It's messed up that this is still sellable on Steam. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like that, yes, I agree. Is there a way to report it to Steam? Like, does anybody know? Like, can you report to them that, hey, you need to check this out? $11,000 hour player here. It's not trash. I don't know, guys. I don't think I'll do Mortal Online. I don't think it does not sound like something. I've never been big on the PvX part anyways. So, I mean, I'll PvP, but that's not like my main thing for MMOs. So Narc was right. I mean, Narc was right a lot. Narc was right about a lot of things. I imagine it'll be taken down Monday. Steam doing anything on the weekend just normally doesn't happen. Well, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah, everything that's running around in front of us is basically bots. Yeah, definitely do not buy this game at this point. Wait and see what happens. Narc said his watch time on his most recent video went from 12 minutes to 2 minutes because of the Ashes drama. Poor guy. No, I like Narc. You know, I wish him well. I wish everyone well. I don't want anyone to be, you know. Life happens too fast to be salty forever. So. Everyone just came to his video to comment. Yeah. How can we get a refund? I will tell you right now, you can always try through Steam. They're going to go by their policy. So if they deny it, you're going to have to kind of, you're going to have to go through that process. I've heard several folks that have said they've tried to refund it through Steam and have been denied. So people ignoring the writing on the wall. I mean, I've been trying to put the writing out there for people to connect dots. So I will say ESO, I think the story would be something I'd probably be interested in, but Steam refund policy is ass. Oh, for sure. Makes you wonder, you know, Intrepid had such a generous refund policy that they kind of quickly got rid of. This also starts to put that into a certain light too. So. Okay, everybody. Yeah, Apogea. Oh yeah, yeah. We actually had that on just a minute ago, but they did a patch, so I flipped over. Actually, I flipped over here just to see what kind of bot situation we had. So that's it. Game over. Pretty much. This is probably the very last time I'll ever open this game. Is my guess. So, you know, probably won't uninstall it, but you'll get auto denied on Steam because of playtime. Yeah. You'll have to do the appeal process. Yeah. I imagine that's what's going to happen for a lot of folks. Although if they get enough appeals, I wonder if that's going to open a bigger deal, right? Imagine the guys who backed for $10,000. I know. I don't know. If I ever threw $10,000 at a game, my wife would neuter me. So I just read the news. What the fuck? It's all of us, man. Well, not all of us. There's quite a lot of people in here that are prediction machines. Would you still play AOC if its development continues with another studio? No, no, I would not. I think I'm done. Shout out to the wives. Yeah, no, yeah, I'd be neutered and divorced. But yeah, there's just no way. Why would I want to? So again, this kind of comes back to the idea of really where I have had fun in this game has been entirely in meeting all of the people that are a part of it. The players, you know, everyone in Discord, the developers. That's been the fun part to the game. The game itself has been largely ass. And I've been pretty clear about that. I think somebody asked me where we're rating, and I said like 4 out of 10. But being around people has been fun. So, you know, the fun part of this has been the people. So, you know, if they ship this off to some other place out of the country, no, I'm not going to play it. Why would I, right? They stripped it away from the people that I enjoyed. So Planendorf, I always throw Planendorf's name out there. If you don't know who Planendorf is, he's is he a producer, I think, director, producer? Who's an incredibly fun person. I've played with him on stream a few times. Really dedicated, really nice. I feel bad for him. Like, why would I if they fired people like that, why would I ever continue supporting the game? I wonder where Ashes would be if Jeff Bard stayed. Now that is someone I would love to talk to. And someone I plan on reaching out to. So I don't know that he'll answer me. Probably doesn't even know who the I am, but I do want to reach out to him. I do think there's a core. I always wonder why he actually left. I think the company line was something about he was presented with a job opportunity that was his dream job, and so he had to leave. I've always wondered if there was more than that. We're talking about Jeffrey Bard. This was years ago. He was brought in from Daybreak. I would say in my mind, he was sort of the PV. So if we think of, here's how I have typically pictured this. If we think of Ashes as a PVX game, I always saw Steven as the PvP and Bard as the PvE balance. Like that's how like they together made PVX. And you know, when Jeffrey Bard left, that counterbalance was no longer there. So did it coincide with UE5? No, he left before. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go back and check dates, but pretty sure it was before UE5. So, but I would like to understand what his real rationale was. I'm guessing they ran out of cash, plan to sell to a new developer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's always possible. Our server, Ash's server, is supposed to go down tomorrow. Entirely unclear. What I've been told, I asked him, what I've been told is probably not. There will literally be no one to turn them off. Oh, we got somebody corrupted here. Are they trying to dupe? Do we still get our gilded scarab mount? Probably not. And dupe while you can. Yeah, I wonder what that was doing. And that thing just looted him. Huh. Oh wait, is that the dupe? No, you have to loot yourself, right? Yeah, I typically do not. I don't think we've ever banned anyone on this channel, but yeah, that dude over there in YouTube's been going at it pretty hard for a while here. So anyways, yeah, so all bots here. YouTube chat a menace. Yeah, can be. YouTube chat's almost like Reddit chat. Funny how a year ago it was, don't worry, the game is fully funded by me until completion already, to the board ruined everything. That's a good point. Actually, I can remember, I think it was Richie posted something in Discord about a UCC filing and lenders and stuff. And I'm pretty sure he was really pushed down hard by Steven in chat saying, you know, I'm the one who do you think provides collateral? I don't know, but here we are. I didn't quit, but I stopped smoking a pack a day. Huh? What? I don't know. What's that mean? All right, guys. I don't really have much more to update at this point. I've been checking to see if I've gotten any other messages, but I don't. So, although it is only what, 8 in the morning out there. I was up pretty late trying to figure all this out. So we streamed really late, and then oh, you missed the guy who said he quit smoking. Okay. I haven't watched the new season yet, so I don't have any thoughts, but I'll let you know. Fully stopped smoking during phase 2. Well, good. That's a good achievement, man. Loved the crafting and gathering system. Ooh, it had some good starting points, but I don't know that I would say I loved it. Right, MMO, something you're looking forward to. Yeah, me as well. But who knows when that will happen. I think worse than bad information is no information. And that was yesterday for sure. When do the servers go down? Probably, we don't know for sure, but probably not tomorrow. Effectively, it's looking like if the studios they're fired, there's like no one to turn them off. So I don't know. Saddest part about all of this is the state of animal husbandry. Yeah. Man, I hated petting things. It sucked so bad. Drove me nuts. Well, what would you recommend is the best solution to problems like this for gamers and companies? I have jumped out of Kickstarter a long time ago. I would never personally jump back into anything Kickstarter. Number one. Number two, from a studio development, I don't know. You know, when I look at what, I think you have to ask the question, why are Western MMOs failing while Eastern MMOs keep coming out? And I think you have to look at their different process, the way they go about doing things from a financial standpoint compared to how we do. I think Western MMOs operate very differently. I think the model that would make the most sense to me going forward is what Pantheon's doing. If you don't want to go down the whole sort of pay to win gotcha route that you see within a lot of Eastern MMOs. If you don't want to go down that route, then you look to something like Pantheon, where maybe you have this idea for a big world, but you only develop like 20% of it first. And then you demonstrate community interest, and then you get more funding, and then you develop like another 10%. And you just keep that process going for a while. I think that's probably going to be how we might start seeing things in a financial perspective. Realistic views for developers. Yeah, that's the other thing. We talked about that a little bit. I wonder how much of this also is Ashes wanted to do so many big changes at once that were so complicated, rather than picking one or two things. It was like, let's do 4 or 5 things. And maybe they bit off far too much as well. So I think EverQuest Next did the same thing. So. It's tough, man. It's a difficult place, difficult spot to be in. Just kind of crazy, right? AFC was different. We had the player base, we had the PvP and the PvE, but a lot better than what's out there. We just got scammed by a dude that has a background of scamming cancer patients. Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, everyone definitely got shafted in this. So definitely got shafted. A lot to unpack there. Yeah. I know you're let down. I am too, to be honest. I was so hyped up and watching you and others do the beta and alpha. Well, they've not been in beta, but the alpha seemed like it was going to be a really cool finished product. I mean, they had the ideas, just not the implementation. Who are you talking to? I'm not gonna lie, new MMOs is a meme at this point. It is, yeah, for sure. Western devs waste too much money. There's probably something to that as well. I think it's Lude Lloyd. Lude Lloyd has posted a lot. You know, he's been deep into Apogea. And he had made a comment, you know, in the time that we had Steam Early Access, we had like 2 patches, both of which were rolled back, or I don't know. We had very few patches, 2 of which got rolled back. Versus you looked at Apogea and they had just numerous patches of all sorts of fixes with a, you know, drastically smaller team. You know, is it apples to oranges? I don't know, but it was actually, I think, a very enlightening thing to say. So it's just so much more expensive to develop games in the West. Yeah, I think it's probably a big part of it. Yeah. Here's how I feel following this project for a long time. I sort of knew about 1.5 years ago this game was in a major trouble. Feel content. I feel content. We at least have an answer. I feel very bad for the employees. Exactly. Exactly. I think leadership made a lot of mistakes over the years. Probably how we've ended up here. Immaculate Deception. What's up, brother? How you been? Going back to them COE times, man. Chronicles of Valeria should have been your warning. Star Citizen is the other warning of what happens with these kinds of crowdfunded MMOs. Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I haven't seen you for a bit, man. How you been? How you feeling, dude? You were visibly emotional last night. Now you have friends who work there. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good, man. You know, I don't have much sleep because I was talking to a lot of people, but, you know, I'll move on to another game. Yeah, I do feel what I feel for is the people who don't have a job tomorrow, don't have money, don't have benefits. That is the ultimate thing that was shitty as fuck here. And to literally have that dropped on them on a Saturday night sucks, man. And I hope someone pays for that. I really do. Actually doing really well. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad to see everyone that got out of the COE days. I don't think some people made it out of that, so. Why does TikTok always think I'm not streaming? So weird. Caught your face on YouTube? Which YouTube? I don't even know. I don't know where all that stuff got put, man. I did like a really short, like 2-3 minute thing before I went live, and I have no idea who's watched it or who hasn't, so. I'm absolutely done with crowdfunding. I'm right there with you, Magisto. I think I'm done with just testing in general. I'm tired, man. You know, I'm tired of testing things. I'm tired of paying for testing things. I'm tired of this process. You know, when you go back to games like EverQuest 2, you go back to games like fucking Lord of the Rings Online, like you got invited to test Vanguard. You got invited to test and it was a big deal, right? You couldn't tell anyone because you had an NDA. But it was like, it made it better. It's been 84 years. Yeah. Anyways, like those were much better times. And I'm tired of this, man. I'm done with this at this point. So, you know, we've come up through now just going this route with that in EverQuest. Next, Chronicles of Valeria, we didn't even really get to test. And now this, I'm over it. So, Ashes of Creation is basically done at this point. Vanguard. Oh yeah, I remember getting into Vanguard. That was years ago. And it was like the next big thing, right? It was so cool because you got invited and you felt like you got rewarded. Like I can distinctly remember with Lord of the Rings Online being in their chat all the time. And their forums and stuff. all the time. So, you know, when you finally get invited into their testing realm, you feel like, you feel like you earned your way in, right? And I think that also makes you test from a different angle. Because you feel like you earned your way into a privilege rather than, hey, I threw money at you. I demand this. So I'm done with this shit. I think I'm done with any sort of crowdfunded MMORPG. So, be invited to test Rift was fucking awesome. Exactly right. You felt good about it, because you felt like you accomplished something or you were being trusted with something. Is this true? What is what true? Soul Frame's free. I do have that. Yeah, that's one I thought about. I tested that as well. I don't know though. I think I'm over the testing stuff. Vanguard was hot for a little while. Don't remember much about the end game though. They had a lot of really good ideas, but just, you know, one of those things that was hard to implement. Ashes being dead. I mean, pretty much. We don't know exactly what's going on with the game code, but the staff are all being fired tomorrow. So where they go, I don't know. Soul Firm's really good. I need to jump back in. What is game chat looking? I'm afraid to open it. To be honest, I'm afraid to open game chat. I don't know what it's going to say. If it's anything like Discord, I want no part of it. Oh, there we go. There's what it says. They got to get their last bit of RMT out. Right? Got to get their last little bit. And look, it's grabbed 30% off this week as a thank you for being part of our crew. Little holiday hack floating around Discords lately. Insider vibe check. Still going strong for the fam. Who is even doing this? Holy it. I want my damn money back. There should be rules to this shit. Well, I think we're likely going to see, I don't know. We'll see. I have a feeling people are going to take some action against the company. It would be my guess, but I've not heard that, but, we'll see. Is the game dead or new owners? We don't know what's going on with the actual game. Intrepid Studios appears to be getting shut down. All of the staff are getting fired. We've not been told what happens to Ashes of Creation. I mean, it could theoretically be developed by another studio somewhere else. Actually, Nice Gaming has said that the code, he claimed the code has been sent external, whatever that means. But yeah, there's been no official statement of any kind. Look at all these bots, man. Who's even buying gold for a game that's probably closing down? I don't know, but they got to get their last go around. Actually, let's look. What is it? G2G? Ashes of Creation gold. Instant delivery. Gold used to be like $1. This is 10 cents. It's down to 10 cents. Or is it 1 cent? Is that 1 or 10? Yeah, this says 10 cents. 10 cents per gold. Started to play SWTOR. I've really never jumped in that. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't have a lot of time. That's the hard part. DA was on Intrepid payroll. Is that what he's saying? I don't know. Is that what he's saying? Yes, it's still on Steam and 100% should be taken off Steam. So. What the heck happened to this game? I read the statement, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, per Steven, the board, something's going on with a board that he disagreed with. So he says that he resigned, everyone else quit, and everyone else getting fired. I don't know what server I was on. I'd have to go back and look, to be honest. Some people said they got their money back on Steam. Hey guys, I would go for it. I would go do it now. While all this shit is hitting the proverbial fan, I would go back and do it now. or try. Anyways, ever try Pantheon? Yeah, I have. I actually don't mind Pantheon, but I also grew up playing as a kid playing EverQuest. So we got scam boys. I mean, we all got screwed over. That's for sure. That is for sure. Why would you get a refund? I mean, people are just, I think, upset. I think from what I have heard this morning, it sounds like people feel like they've been lied to, and they want a refund. Which MMO will you play after this, if any? Something, I don't know yet. We'll probably do Monsters of Memory. I was saying this earlier, I think I'm done with testing games. So, I don't know. I'm going to look for, I actually had this idea of going and playing some old school stuff that was not super popular and just sort of doing some rounds and looking at stuff and just sort of seeing what it was like. The first two that came to mind, there were two that I remember way back when. One was called the Chronicles of Spellborn, which had like this novel combat system, and the other was Saga of Rizom. I think it's Rizom. That's actually now listed on Steam as Ryzom, Ryzom. I've thought about just jumping into some of those old things, and we can stream those together and play around and just see what it's like. But, you know, I really don't know, to be honest. I don't know if we're going to have a long-term, every weekend, every month game. Is there no hope that whoever's taking over the game finishes it in some capacity and updates it over time to reach the original vision? I guess you can always hope. I don't have that hope. Personally. I'm pretty sure there's some great DAOC private servers. Archlord? What is that? Archlord. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look. I just find it funny that people spend hundreds of. I'm not gonna go down that route, but you need to check the class. Or the private server. Oh, it's Star Wars Galaxies. Yeah, I actually think I've tried to get onto that. I'll have to look. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, JJ Max. Do you think MMO is dying genre that can't compete? Watered trend and market. I hope the owner of Rust. I hope the owner of Rust make a bid for Ashes of Creation. I don't think anybody's coming for Ashes of Creation, to be honest. I don't know that they would even let it go or any of that. Are MMOs dying? I think MMOs are probably one of the worst states they've been in a long time, at least on our side of things. Eastern MMOs keep coming out and seemingly are making money. But yeah, I think Western MMOs are in a very, very difficult state. Nobody wants to pay for them because they cost a lot of money. So, you know, are they dying? I don't know, but it's certainly it's certainly a genre that I think needs a lot of help. I do wonder how much. Hank, I want to point out that this is how many times you've come back into chat now? 2 or 3? You like me. Come on now. I know you do. That's why you're hanging out. You like my pretty face. You like it. Don't lie. I don't know. MMOs are tough, man. I don't like you. Are you talking to me, Strix? It's rude. Hank's here for the stash. Yeah. Face for radio. I appreciate that. It's an interesting thing with MMOs. This is actually one of the videos I thought about putting together, just in general, outside of Ashes. You know, MMOs really were founded. I think MMOs took off early in the 90s as sort of the first form of like social media. It was really one of the first places where people that were gamers could connect with and meet people from all over the world. Like that did not exist up until you started having games like Ultima Online and EverQuest, right? And so it was a very popular thing because you got to meet so many cool different people. I mean, you met assholes too, and sometimes they join your YouTube chat, but it was a very different. I think there was a very different social scenario back then, and then you fast forward to now, and you have social media everywhere and all these different things. Where I don't know that MMO use, the whole community connection, I don't think that need is as strong as it used to be. People get that everywhere else, right? You get those interactions on literally everywhere: Discord, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. You know, you get all of these interactions with other people in other places, and so I actually think that's one of the big reasons why MMOs are so hard to revive in a new way. Sadly. So. Wait, what's going on? Mud started him. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they did. But I'm just saying, just more of the, just the need to interact with people. Like, I think that's moved out of the core MMO need, and so that's where people come and go a lot more than they used to. And so it's just harder to find a need. These new games that are completely antisocial suck ass. Yeah, but again, I'm not saying. I mean, I get it, but I also think that there's for a lot of, not everyone. I'm not saying this is everyone, but for a lot of people, there are other ways to connect where there didn't used to be 20, 30 years ago. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that's like the end all be all for why MMOs don't seem to stick anymore. There's also a lot, I'm sure, of other reasons, money being one of them. But sorry, I'm looking for something real quick. There you go. All right, guys. I think we're gonna pause at this point. So I got a link for you. It starts. Here's a third part of the video. No, I'm not going to put DA stuff on screen. Yeah, we were on late last night.
Oh no.
In the morning. Normally I would normally go another 30 minutes, but I think I'm ready to be done for now. So I don't have anything else to say. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all, and we'll keep going. Right, we're gonna move forward and find something else to do together. So, Asmongold reacting to someone else reacting to you. I think it's the Dusty thing, right? So, or something. I don't even know, guys. Okay. TikTok. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't followed me, give me a follow. We'll hang out. We'll do some more gaming together. We'll figure it out, and we'll find new ways to have fun. New ways. So I gotta take a break before I lose my mind. So, all right, TikTok. I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all later. YouTube. Appreciate you guys as well. Well, most of you. Huh. Is there a refund? You can try. My guess is that's going to get resisted every which way, but you can certainly try. But yeah, if you haven't followed, give me a follow. We'll be back next weekend, and I'll try to figure out what we want to stream in between then and now, and hang out as we continue our road forward. So. Would you give Quinfall a chance? I already did, and no, not again. So. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do Quinfall. Although I think it's ironic that it's going to be, or it's interesting that it's going to be going longer than Ashes have. Any news on what's next for AOC? Nope, not yet. But I hopefully we'll have a video here in the next couple of days after I talk to some more folks and try to put together something. So, and we'll see what we get. So, all right, guys. YouTube, I'll see y'all later. Peace. Twitch, do you have anywhere you want to go?